Hi, good morning, everyone. Okay, good. Hi, Poonam. We are starting. We're just waiting for more of you to join, but now I think a significant number of you already here. So we are not going to waste any further time. And today we will directly hop into the CV game because yesterday, if you remember, we had discussed, the personal interviews, how to go around tackling the personal interviews in a strategic manner so as to make the maximum impact. I have received a lot of questions on the personal interview. So today, what we will do is after this, we'll try to finish the CV portion and then we'll try to take in some questions with regards to how to, if there are any specific questions around the interviews. That is something we can tackle today. But before we do that, a couple of you had gotten in touch with me, and you were some of you were actually even panicking because you said your CVs are not ready and you needed to book your slots and all of that. So we will discuss all of that in more, and if there are any queries, we will also deal with those. So now quickly move on to the CVs. Now you already have received a certain format, which is there in the MS Word format, which has been given to you, when you must have received your call. Now you have to adhere to that format and you have to ensure that the CV is going to. Ananya, what is the last day of filling the CV? Please go and check on the portal. It's all there. So please, let us concentrate on what we are here for. What is the last day of filling the CV? I'm sure it is there on the portal. And it depends on when you've gotten the call for which center, whether you received the call for Pune, Hyderabad. Now that all is something you need to check on. Okay, let's concentrate on getting the CV right, because if we are going to tackle all these issues, then we'll run short of time, which we don't want. So there's a standard format that you have received, which you need to adhere to. Now it's a two-page format. Please understand, do not make that CV a one-page format. Some students in the past, either they have extended the CV to a three-page format or they have reduced it to a one-page format. Please understand, when the officials are going to take a printout and give it to the panel of the interviewers, they are only going to take a printout of first two pages. So if you have added an additional page, it is not going to be considered. So keep that in mind, adhere to the two-page limit that is there. You cannot have a one-page CV, you cannot have a two-page CV. That's one. Now, obviously, there's an official format. Do not please take random MS Word formats. I know some students who have done it in the past, and that has not really worked in their favor. Some students had a great, scorecard, but unfortunately, because the CVs were either not printed, they were not sent, they were incomplete, they were beyond two pages, it did not bode well for them. So please, I'm reiterating, do not make it a one-page, three-page CV. It's a two-page standard CV. Follow that. Do not pick up any random MS Word format. Some students just go to Google, they just type, a good, CV, and they get multiple formats. Please do not get caught in that web. Also, what you can do is, when obviously you have seen, that you have to tell about your brief, your career goal, your academics, then your extracurriculars, any other reason why you want to put, and then they ask you about why a particular college, or why Pune, SLS Pune, all of those things, and then why you want to do BA, LLB, BBA, all of those. So all of those things are there. You can initially, you can pen down your thoughts together. And I'm sure yesterday, after we have had we had a session yesterday, I'm sure you have put your thoughts together, and then you have tried to get your thoughts together as what side you want to talk about in the personal interviews. As I had mentioned to you yesterday, I'm saying it again. The basis of the personal interview will be the CVs that you are giving. So please ensure, and that is at least take time to fill in your CVs. Because when the interviewer is going to start interviewing you, he or she will have a printed version of your CV in place, and he will refer to that. He will refer from those particular things that you have filled in. We'll quickly go through it. So ensure you do it very, very seriously. And there is an alignment between what you say in your personal interviews and what you have written in your, the CV. So it flows. Please ensure the flow is very smooth. It's very, very, without any glitches. What you're saying is coming across as very honest and very genuine. First, as I said, you may pen down your thoughts on a paper, but all the editing work and everything should happen on the official format. Please do not make any changes to the official format. Stick to that. That it has been given to you, because when they are interviewing 30, 40 students, they do not want different looking CVs. They want a standard looking CV, and it works in their favor. It works, it makes their work easier. Do not change that. Also, the sequence that has been given in your CV, please maintain that sequence. Do not, some students I know have even, chosen a format which is different. Please don't do it. It should follow from your official, format that has been given. Also, in some of the segments, like for example, in your achievements, your extracurriculars, please follow bullet points. Some students I know, they write full essays, like a paragraph that flows in, wherein they write, I have worked in the debate team, I have participated in the debate team, I have done this, and then I became so, initially I was very reluctant, but then I started. No, you don't have to write a story. Please write bulleted points. Represented my school in inter-college competition in debating. Was a head boy or a head girl of my school in the year this. The highest scorer in physics for my batch. In top 5 students of the class consistent. So you have to give very, very bulleted point. Nobody has a time there to go through stories around, achievements like those stories. If you have to tell, if there is something specific that you want to mention, that can be mentioned during the course of the personal interview. But please do not make it as, a part of the CV. Okay, just stick to bulleted points. So I hope that is clear. So these are some of the do's and the don'ts. Now moving on, some students have come and asked me that, sir, I have a certain achievement, but I have no certificate to prove it. Okay, I am seeing something. I really don't know. Somebody's just mentioned. Okay, somebody's just mentioned a list. Okay, whoever it is. So achievements without certificates can be mentioned, but obviously the best and the most credible ones would be the ones wherein you can get certificates. Now, some students tell me, sir, I really have not participated. What should I do? Then obviously for such students, they can actually, some of you can go to your schools, you can speak to your principals, and you can ask them to write a letter of recommendation for you, saying this student was a part of this, he was very this thing, he had these skills, he was good student, all of those things. Okay, so all of these mentions can also be, they can be put. Okay, somebody's mentioned I have the following certificates for SLS Pune CV. Will they be sufficient? High commendations, special mentions, first place in inter-house debate, certificates of merit in grade 11th, scholarship achievement in grade 11th, Lamart's municipal participation, MUN. Okay, yeah, very good. These are good enough, extracurricular activities. So as you have already mentioned, these are a couple of things that you can add in your CVs, make them look smart, makes it credible. You can, for example, mention if you have participated in sports, been part of any leadership activities around a house captain of any, if you're a house captain in your school, if you worked in, there's a section, there's an extracurricular activity, there's an academic, and there's also any others. Okay, so you can have your internship if you have done, if you work as a part of an NGO, if you have visited courts, if you've been part of MUNs, if you have gotten any recognition or a letter of recommendation from the school. Now, these are various things that you can mention. Some students tell me, sir, when it comes to academics, I was not really a bright student now, but I was very good in Hindi, let us say. So then please make it a point and say, I was ranked top 5 or top 3 in Hindi in my class 11. That is also an academic achievement. Okay. So, for example, I got the highest marks in physics in my class 12 in the pre-boards. Okay. That's also an achievement. Always and consistently been in top 10, a top 10 student in my class. Well, that is an achievement. If you're a position holder, please mention that. If you have received any prize, there might be a essay contest, a literary contest, please mention that. That is also an academic achievement. If you've been, highest, you've been given an award for highest attendance in your class, please mention that. It shows how you believe in perseverance, you're hardworking. When it comes to co-curricular activities, if you have been a singer, a dancer, a debater, if you've written editorials for your school magazine, participated in debates, participated in youth parliaments, all of those things do count as your co-curricular achievements. Please mention that. Also, there's any other section that is there, please do not leave it blank. You can use that section to talk about your hobbies. If you have done any volunteer work at school events, I'm sure most of you would have participated in some school activities. Please mention that. If any one of you has worked in an NGO, if you are interested in a certain social cause, if you worked around, let us say, the stray animals in your society, please mention that. And for example, if you don't have much, you can always, one thing, if you have good relationship or a good rapport with your school, you can always ask your school principals for a letter of recommendation, and that can also be given. So these are some of the ways you can actually use that space to fill up. Then one of the things that they ask is, mention the name of the and one more thing. Some students have come to me saying that in the form they're mentioning, I've only gotten a call from, let us say, Hyderabad, but it also mentions why Pune, Noida, and all of that. So my recommendation is, let us say you have gotten a call only for Hyderabad. So then you should write, if they ask you why SLS Pune or why Symbiosis Pune, and then in your answer, don't play around with what they have given as a heading. In your answer, you give that my reason of joining Symbiosis Hyderabad campus is because blah, 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 blah. You don't talk about Pune. You don't talk about Noida and Nagpur because you have simply gotten a call from Symbiosis, let's say Hyderabad. Similarly, if you've gotten calls from all of them, let's say you've got a call, Pune call, a Noida call, a Hyderabad call, Nagpur call, what you should do is the top rated, let us say the Pune one, in this case, you should, when you write your answer, you should mention why Pune. It is not a good technique, to say, I would like to go to Pune because of this. I would like to go to Noida because of this. No, just restrict your answer to the top rank, college, even if you have gotten the call from all of them. So what has to be uploaded under PI call letter? Sir, what if I have worked with a firm for their sales and got a letter of thanks? Yes, Ananya. I mean, I can't read the entire name. Yes, that can be mentioned for sure because it is saying that if you work in a sales department and they've given you a letter of appreciation, it is a very good. You can mention it. Any other achievements you can mention it there, and that will obviously be a very credible proof of your hard work or how you have a knack for sales, which shows some of the other qualities. If you're trying to show about leadership or you're trying to talk about your confidence level, your team spirit, all of these things can then be placed in your interview round. So it sorts of marries very beautifully that you worked in a sales department, you've gotten a letter of appreciation, and how you're marrying this because you think that you are a confident person, you can speak well to people, you're a team leader. That sort of a thing can also be married to it. So that can definitely be. And for example, if you also have a choice of that you want to go to a BBA LLB, then you can actually say that, the reasons for BBA is because I am interested in marketing and sales and all of that, and that can be a part of it. Now, somebody says, sir, what has to be uploaded in the PI call letter? The email, so what has to be uploaded in the PI call letter? Now, this is something Steffi. Okay, the uploaded under PI call letter, I really at this point of time I don't know that. But yes, what you can do is you can write, your query. You can email it to your center head, and then we'll get back to you. Because what needs to be uploaded is the call letter, and the other thing that needs to be uploaded is all the certificates that you are going to give as a part of the, for example, if you have gotten a certificate of merit, scholarship, all those need to be uploaded in a PDF format and be attached. So these are the two things. But if there's something, we will get back to you. So what do we have to post? Do we have to post CV in JPEG PNG form? You can check there because most of the CV, earlier it was PDF. This year, if they must have definitely specified, but it used to be the PDF format. But all the attachments will need to be in the PDF format. Just check on this, please, because they must have mentioned it there. Sir, as of now, we just have to book our slots, right? We are going to come to booking the slots, so just wait. I'm going to talk about booking the slots also. The other question that, for some students, as I have specified, if you've got calls from all of these campuses, then when they ask you why, only mention the first preference. Okay, it shows that you're genuinely interested in the, you're not saying that, oh, if I don't get into this, then second is this and third is this. No, please restrict your answer to the top brand campus. In which case, if you've got Pune, then please mention about Pune. Then the other question that is asked is, why are you selecting BA LLB or BBA LLB? Mention the reason for your preference. Now, one of the things that you need to see here is that, whatever course, for example, if you are choosing to opt for BA LLB, then you can mention things like, because, maybe you have a humanities background, maybe you want to study sociology, which is going to tell you about the society. You want to understand about political science. It's going to help you in your understanding of legalities in the political scenario, which is a big thing. You want to study about economics because you think that's going to aid your understanding of law. Now, all of these things you will need to have a plan in place because this is something that you need to fill in. If you were to, for example, mentioning that your preference is BBA LLB, then you need to talk about the corporate laws. You need to talk about the business studies, how that fascinates you, and how you eventually are looking at a career in, a corporate law. And then you marry all those answers. What will happen is when the interviewer is going to read through it, and when he's going to interview you, then he will know a very, very clear perspective why you're choosing a certain college, why you're choosing a certain course. For example, if they ask you, if you have to answer why Pune, why do you want to be in SLS Pune? Then your answer can say that, it has a 50-year-old history. It's a very prestigious institute. You can talk about the locational advantages around Pune. Right? We all know Pune has certain locational advantages. You can talk about the faculty members. You can say that you have, your batchmates, your friends, your family friends who have studied there. They mention very highly about the faculty at SLS Pune. You can talk about the law firms that are in and around Pune. You can talk about the locational advantage because Mumbai is close. You can talk about the exposure because, Pune boasts of a multicultural sort of a place, and the exposure that you will get there will be very good. And for places like Noida, you can talk about the the proximity with Delhi, for example. Delhi's got the High Court, the Supreme Court. Those are things that will obviously hold you in good stead there. So proximity to New Delhi, support the Supreme Court, all of those things. Also the corporates in and around Delhi, all of those things are things that you need to mention when you are saying why this particular location. And similarly, as we mentioned, That for BBA choice, because you're choosing between BBA or a BA, LLB, Sir, I felt both BA and BBA, but got a call from Pune for BBA. So in which case, when you are answering your form, please do not make the mistake of saying that you are preferring BA, because if they've called you for BBA, then your answer should stick around BBA. Okay, if it clearly mentions you got a call from BBA, then your answer should be around Y, BBA, LLB. Okay, now, this is basically some of the things that you need to keep in mind. So why Pune, Noida, Hyderabad, all of these things we've already discussed. Now you have to self-assess, attest your CV. So you should take a printout, ideally in color, because that makes it look nice. Sign it, you should sign it and then upload it. So self-attest your CV. It shows that whatever information you have filled is all genuine. Okay. Also, one suggestion, because somebody mentioned about booking slots. Yes, you can. The slots can be booked right away. Somebody had called me yesterday. My suggestion is that whatever campus you have got calls from, please do not ideally select the first day slot. The reason being that I'm sure your friends or somebody, and obviously we start getting updates. So if you book the first day slot, first day early morning slot, then the problem is you're not able to speak to anyone who has already been through that the personal interview. However, if you choose a second day slot or a third day slot, you already have got some people who can tell you, who can share with you their particular feedback, how it went, what are the kind of questions that are being asked. So my personal suggestion is do not book the first do not book the day one slot. Ideally, try and picking up day two slots or day three slots. You have enough understanding of what's being asked. Also, again, my suggestion is try and book a early morning slot. The reason being because sometimes what happens is the slots get delayed, the timing gets late. So if you're booking a afternoon slot, let's say at 2, then in all its probability it becomes 3 or 4 because you have to wait. Now the problem is this, that when early morning you're being interviewed, you have a fresh mind, the interviewer has a fresh mind, but the same interview after 3 hours, 4 hours, it's only human that the level of interest goes a little down. Everybody's professional here. I mean, there's nothing wrong if you're booking a later slot, but generally what happens is if you get a preference, my suggestion would be on day 2, day 3, go for a morning slot, because one, it will not make you anxious waiting unnecessary for a very long time, because sometimes these slots get delayed and it makes people anxious, it makes people nervous. So the earlier you slot you book, the more relaxed you are, because you can with a fresh mind take the slot, and then obviously it should go well. Sir, I filled both BA and BBA but got a call from Pune for BBA, which is fine, Ishita. You have got a call from Pune from BBA, then your preference should, when you're asked, you should be mentioning BBA. Okay, when you're writing in your CV, it should mention YBBA. Okay, so we have discussed a couple of pointers around there. You can talk about your interest in corporate. You can talk about how you're interested in leadership, business strategy, corporate laws, all of those things, right? So yes. So this is basically some of the things that we need to keep in mind while filling in our forms. Now, coming back to the form, initially, you are asked about a fact like why law, for example. So now why law is a question that you need to be careful about answering, simply because it will be a good icebreaker when you are being interviewed. It will be a good icebreaker. So we need to be sure that our reason of pursuing law as a career choice is very, very, we know what we are doing. We know why you're here. It's not something that, oh, sir, I didn't get through NEET and that's why I've taken law as a this thing. So you have to spend some time to understand why really law. What are those things? What are those things that made you pursue law? Okay. So no, those things can be, you can, depending on why you're really pursuing law, what piqued your interest, you can write that, we have a family friend or a close cousin or an uncle who is a lawyer, and I saw how, interesting his work was. I was always fascinated by his books, his chamber, how people came up, looked up to him, the kind of respect he got. And that really motivated me initially. And then I tried read more about law, and then the interest only got heightened. That's why I chose. Somebody said, "Oh, I watched a certain series, and I was watching it. I was very intrigued by the lives of lawyers." Somebody was Suits, and they said, "Oh, it's something that may pick their interest in the entire legal as a choice of career." And over a period of time, once that person got interested, they try to read more about it. Some might say that, oh, I studied legal, I had legal studies in my class 12, 11th and 12th, and that really was a very interesting subject. I was always out there trying to understand more about how the legalities of the Indian system work. You can say that, I'm a good debater. I have, when I debate, I've always excelled. I've represented my team, my school I've represented my, so I've represented my school in the debating team. All of those things can be mentioned, right? That why are you choosing law as a career? And just keep in mind the fact that when you are going to talk about it in your interview, the answer should flow from what you have written in your CV. It should not be that in your CV you are writing totally something else, and the answer is not flowing into the personal interview. The consistency needs to be maintained at all times. So just be very careful. What you're writing is what you genuinely feel. Why the reason should be crystal clear. Okay. So, and reasons can be many. If you've really not thought about it, you can say, I was a little confused at the start of my class 11, but then I came across this book. I read that book, and then, or maybe you say, my father suggested, my mother suggested, why don't you look at law as a career? And then I started reading about law. I joined a coaching center, a test prep center, and all this while that I was trying to understand the law and what all it constituted, my interest started getting heightened. And that's the reason, that's when I realized that my personality type and the kind of work that interests me is, it can be given by something like a law. So all of these pointers need to be sharply put at, and you need to be crystal clear in your reasons for pursuing law as a career. Okay, so be very sharp there. Also, when you write up a brief about yourself, you know, in your CV, please ensure that you are, we had discussed yesterday, that you are giving some food for thought for the interviewer to ask you certain questions which you want to be asked, right? So, for example, if I say my name is Arvind, and my parents named me Arvind because of a certain attributes that I had. Now I am giving him a cue because now they are going to ask me, what attributes did you have as a kid which your parents thought you should be named Arvind? I know this question is going to be answered because it's a good hook, and we had discussed hooks yesterday. Then as I said, if I were to mention, I come from the city of Noida, which is unique in the way it has shaped up in the last couple of years. Now, when I mention these things, I can expect the interviewer is going to ask me, why do you think Noida is become significant in a special way in the last few years? You understand? So those hooks need to be given. The more the hooks you give, the better the chances of actually leading your interviewer on, and making him ask certain questions that you want him to ask. Sir, I have gotten calls from both BA and BBA for Pune under defense category. Anything in particular to research upon due to my category? Well, since you've gotten a defense category, Akul. So obviously, I am assuming your parents, one of your parents, maybe both, work in have a defense career. So it will always be good to prepare for certain questions around your background. That what do you think are the advantages of growing up as a Fauci kid, for example? What are the special attributes that you think you've gained because of maybe multiple schools that you might have studied in? How do you think that has helped you? Are there any cons of being coming from from the army background? Did you miss out on something? All of those things you need to prepare for. Also, you can be asked certain questions around your parents' jobs. What are the kind of jobs they did, and you can probably be ready for if India signed any defense deals in the recent past. All of these things, just quick ones, you need to. No deep diving there because that's not your career choice, but it's always good to be aware of what your parents do. And since you have a defense quota, it's always good to know all of these things. Sir, I have booked 11:30 a.m. 8 Jan. 11:30 is fine, or should I update it to 10? 11:30 is perfectly fine, Ananya. Early part of the day, everybody's got fresh wines, and even if the interview gets delayed, it will not be beyond 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So to that extent, I think it's a pretty good. Everybody feels fresh. Everybody is just warming up to the day. So I think it's a good choice. I would not recommend changing that slot. So where do we have to make CV exactly? The website or Word or PowerPoint? Well, they have given us standard format, which is a Word format, and this is what will need to be basically filled in, taken a printout of, and be uploaded in their website and uploaded in your application form. Okay, so I've answered this question on defense from Akul. Okay, so I think, yeah, that's most of the questions that we have here. So that is only one page format that they have provided for CV. Can somebody confirm that? Because the last the time the exam was conducted, it was a two page slot. So please, if one of you can confirm to me again that if it's only a one page. Okay, so Nanya says yes, it is a one page format. So whatever format has been given, please stick to that. So please do not, we went to the earlier slide because that was the last time, but this time if they have given a one page format, please stick to that one page format. Okay, because then it means that they are only going to take a printout of that one page. Okay, so I hope I've answered your questions, Ananya and Arya. Any other questions that you would want to ask me? Now, Ananya and Aryan, we are getting some questions. Where will we get the CV format? Is it not a part of the website? And I'm sure you all got the links in your part of your interview calls. Yeah, it is there, Ananya said. So please, Akanksha, Kavya, please check. It's been there. It's there for everyone else. Steffi, why Hyderabad? So Steffi, you need to, if you're saying why Hyderabad, Hyderabad obviously is a city which is, very tech oriented. A lot of IT firms are there. So I don't know if, at this point of time, what you want to pursue. So it is a thriving city. It has got a lot of IT space. There are a lot of legal concerns around AI, for example. Now, these are things that you will have a first-hand understanding of because you will be in the proximity of the best IT. It's the IT capital. So the best IT companies, you will get exposure to that. So the kind of exposure, because Hyderabad also boasts of a lot of expats coming and working there. The kind of professionalism that comes in there. A lot of big IT companies there. Okay, so the statehood that has given it another lift. So all of these things you need to weave in your answer to say that in terms of the presence of corporates, the presence of IT, the importance of the legality framework or law framework in the artificial intelligence that is being worked around there. All of those things around the tech you can mention. Sir, they have sent a different link to upload documents. It's not on SLAT website. So yes, I understand. So the upload link will be different, but on what has been given there, as I've gotten an understanding from Ananya that it is there in the part of the call that you might have received. The upload you obviously have to do separately because once you take a print, you fill it in that format. You take a printout as we had mentioned earlier. Then you upload it into the system. Now, obviously, that will not be in the website. So, so the link to upload the document will obviously be different because there you obviously have to write your registration number and all of those things that we have discussed, and then you take a printout of this and then you link it. When you are downloading, when you have to upload those documents, depending on whether it is in JPEG or PNG or PDF, that should not be a problem because they would have given you a specific there. So that should not be a problem there, Aryanka. Okay. So that is about the do's and don'ts and how we need to fill in our CVs for the SLAT PIs. Now, if there's any other specific question, you can ask me. The other thing that we all can do is, which we had discussed yesterday also, that depending on when your slots are, you can share the slots with your center heads. Okay, and then we can also have a mock session on the basis of the CV. So please ensure for your mock sessions, you have a CV that is ready. So the same CV that you are uploading in your SLAT forms should be sent on the day your mocks are scheduled, for which you can get in touch with your center heads. And then we will ensure that, we can do a mock PI with you all. Sir, the interview is going to be online, means on our personal systems or any other center. See, it depends. I mean, for example, obviously it's an online PI, which we had discussed yesterday also. Now the thing is this, for example, if your web connection, if you have a Wi-Fi which works, if you have a backup, electricity backup, all of these things are sorted in your house, then the best place to take this interview is going to be your home. Now, however, if you have issues around your Wi-Fi, your electricity, I would not recommend. Please find, you can, talk to your school or your wherever, I don't know, I mean, depending on what access you have, and then ensure that for those, for that particular slot, you get a glitch-free Wi-Fi access, and there's no electricity issue around there. So please choose, before the last day. You can obviously give it from any place. That's not an issue. So wherever you're comfortable with, wherever you feel the most at ease, wherever you think the Wi-Fi system works the best, please ensure you appear for your interview from that space. Okay, so I think that is pretty much it. I think most of the questions have been answered. If I missed any question which you might have asked me at the earlier part of the presentation, because I was talking to you all, I might have missed, and this is your opportunity to write that question down there, and be more than happy to help you. In case not, then the next step is basically get your CVs in place, as what we have discussed in today's session. Take a printout of that CV, and upload it, all of those things we have discussed. And then you can speak to your center head if you're looking for a one-on-one mock with me or some other mentor at CP. Share it with your center head and share your slots, what slots you've chosen, and we will try and, So what is the competition level generally for Pune interview? A competition level, well, it's, all the bright minds, just like you are, Varun. I mean, I can only see Varun. So just bright head, just like yours. So obviously the competition is going to be, like-minded students like you, all bright, confident people like you all. So it is always good to be prepared well. You got an opportunity. So if you are consistent, if you have a confidence, certain confidence, if you have a resolve to pursue law, then it's not going to be difficult. It's going to be very, very achievable. So you have to ensure all the things that we have discussed. So the interview is going to be online, means on a personal system or any other center. Agrim, you can. So this one I have already answered. Beta personal system meaning what? Yeah, you can give it on your laptop, or your computer desktop, or your schools, if that's what you're comfortable with, or any of the other centers, wherever, as I said, there's glitch-free Wi-Fi. So it's a online interview. You do not have to go to the Symbiosis Center. You can be at your home, wherever you're relaxed, wherever you got glitch-free electricity and Wi-Fi connection. Don't worry about that. How to connect with you, any Telegram ID or mail or number, Ananya? Sure, that will be, as I said, please speak to your center heads. Your center heads will be sharing the same with you. It will be conducted on Zoom, right? Poonam, if it is conducted on Zoom or any other format, that is the last or the least of your concerns. Okay? Yes, it can be conducted on Zoom, but does it make any difference? No. So depending on what format they choose, it should not be worrisome, as we are confident how do we approach the online part of the thing. We have discussed, we had a wholesome discussion yesterday in which we specifically discussed how online is a little different from the offline version and what are the things that we need to do. In case you were not part of yesterday's session, what I would request you all is to go to your YouTube channel, to CP's CLAT Possible YouTube channel, and take a look at what we had discussed yesterday. This will give you a much better insight as to how to tackle the do's and don'ts of an online format of a personal interview. So when will the mock interviews be taken? Please, as I mentioned, please share the details of your slots with your center heads at CP, and then we will get a list ready and we can start and maybe from tomorrow. That's not an issue. So depends on how soon your center heads are going to get all the list of your calls, your slots, and then we will be more than happy to start conducting the mocks. So that should not be a problem, Agrima. Sadhna, I hope that has answered your question as well. So we are very clear on the mocks. The sooner you all submit your mock details, your slot details to your CP center head, the sooner we will conduct mocks. So please ensure that the soonest you can book your slots and share them with your CP center heads, the better it will be. Okay, so on that note, I think everyone's questions have been pretty much answered. And if there are more, then we'll be more than happy to help. And as I said, let's meet meet very soon during the mocks, which we will want to start from tomorrow. So please share, as once again, my last words, please share your PI details, your slots with your center heads, and then take a print. Your CV should be ready. We are not going to conduct any mocks without the CVs. That goes without saying. Your final CV that you have uploaded for the PI at SLAT is the CV that you need to share with us, as there will be confusion. We don't want to be there. We don't want to waste our time. Sir, who is the center head of CP Hazratganj? Kriti. Kriti, you can always speak to Miss Meetu there. Everybody knows Meetu ma'am here. So it should not be a problem, right? So yes. So on that note, thank you very much for being patient. And then we will soon meet very soon during the course of mocks, which we want to start from tomorrow. Okay. So when will the mock interview be taken? Agrim, this is what we have been discussing. Please share your slots with your center heads, and then we will schedule mocks and you will be informed in advance. And since it is going to be an online session, you do not need to come to the center. If you wish to, I don't have an issue there. But if you're in Lucknow, you can come to CP Hazratganj during your slot time. I don't have an issue. But for all the outstation students, it's going to be an online format. So you don't need to worry. We will give you the schedule, the slot in advance. No worries on that. Before that, please utilize today's day to get your CV in place, to discuss, all the questions that we had discussed yesterday, to bring your thoughts around what you want to, how you want to present yourself, all that. And then tomorrow we'll start in all its probability and you will get the slots. So a deadline for uploading is not given. I need 3 to 4 days to get certificates from school. I will ask Meetu ma'am here to find out what are the last dates. I'm a little surprised that the dates are not given. But if you can see, if the booking of slots, if you see, the slots can be booked 1 day in advance. So depending on how many days slots they have, you will get a decent enough understanding of how to book your slots. But I'm sure, please go to the website again and then see. I'm sure there's a last date. I'll also try and find it out, and then that will be communicated to you in your WhatsApp groups. Govind sir told me to ask you, as we are not able to find any deadline anywhere, a bit strange there. What I will do is I will speak to Meetu ma'am here and Surabhi ma'am, and we will let you know what is the last day for filling the forms. So Ananya, you're most welcome. So fine, everyone, then please take today, please utilize your time well. Please focus around the areas that we discussed today, get a top-notch CV in place, and then in the next 1, 2, 3 days, I will be personally speaking to all of you during the course of the mocks. So on that note, I wish you all a very good day ahead. Please use it wisely. Please use your time, wisely, and let's discuss. So, can we get the letter of recommendation from teachers instead of principal? Now, Pariksh, I don't know. So, please, if your school, your teachers are ready to give you that sort of a recommendation, yes, please go ahead and take it. There's nothing wrong in doing that, as long as your teachers are giving you that letter of recommendation. So your Hindi teacher might give you a letter of recommendation for your, for the fact that you were a great student in Hindi or her whatever subject she taught. She can also talk about things which are highlighting your personal qualities, like perseverance, hard work, blah blah blah. Right? So that should not be a problem. Fine. So then, okay. So I think that's the last of the questions we have here. Fine. So as I said, I will see you the next 1, 2, 3 days, depending on when your slots are. And for any assistance, please get in touch with us. So on that note, take care. Bye-bye.
वो अभी नहीं हुआ, मैंने उसके बाद